Hello, I'm making this video to just give a little information, some hints and tips and whatnot for your group project presentation next week. So right here I've got the group project description. And I suggest you print this out if you haven't already. And just keep in mind your final product should be a 10 to 12 minute slideshow presentation. And I don't know the order of the projects yet, so be ready on class to go first, because you might be going first. I will randomly select the groups Monday night or Tuesday morning. So make sure you are ready Tuesday morning. Also, whenever you're done with your slides this weekend or Monday, make sure to submit them on Canvas by 8 a.m. So basically, you can keep practicing your presentation, but I want you to be done with your slides by the morning of our presentation. And I want you to submit your slides on Canvas. Just click on the group slides link under the group project module. And then you will see a submit assignment, and you can submit it right there. And if you don't know how to submit or save as a PDF, or if you're using Google Slides or Prezi, you should be able to download the slides. But if not, at worst, just send me an email. And I've had groups invite me to their slideshow presentation, Google Slides or Prezi, so that works too if you're having issues submitting. But I definitely need to have your access to your slides by 8 a.m. on Tuesday. Okay, so I would advise normally for slideshows to put less on each slide. You don't want to kind of put too much information per slide. Messes up the audience. But this case is different, since this is your only grade is the slideshow. I'd advise you to put more, give more explanation on your slides. I will be taking detailed notes during your presentation, but I do go back and refer to your slides later when I give you your final grade on this project. So give more information on the slides that I would normally say on a slideshow presentation. I'd say make sure at least one person in your group has this rubric printed out. Have this in front of you as you put your slideshow together. As you're getting towards the finish of your slides and your presentation, read through this again. Most often, in my experience, the groups that don't get a high score, an A or B, is usually because they just completely forget something on this list. So this is what I'm going to have in front of you while I'm grading during your presentation. This is what I'm going to use. So please have this in front of you. Read through this carefully. If you have any questions, send me an email. The one note I want to make here on the data category, there's something called level of measurements for variables given. For that, use a different textbook that goes into more specificity on this level of measurement. But for our class, that just means are the variables used quantitative or qualitative? I think it's more quantitative, correct? Okay. All right, so I want to go through a couple hints. Oh, sorry, one more thing. Make sure you are on time for class. You're in class and you're on time. There is a 5-point part of your grade that's audience participation. I will pass out a packet for you to take notes on every other project. And I will have the roster up, and I will be taking roll. So if you are late or miss a part of a presentation, you lose 2 points on your project. And if you miss an entire presentation, so if you miss 15 minutes of class or miss a full class period, then you're going to lose 5 points or more. Essentially, everyone on the group will get the same grade unless one person is late to class or misses class. Then their grade will be penalized alone. So don't be late. Set your alarm 15, 20, 30 minutes earlier for class next week. Okay, lastly I want to go over, just as I've done this probably about 7 or 8 semesters, project presentation tips, stuff I think that's come up from students that have told me that I've observed. Make sure to practice. When you put your slides together, practice, go over it a couple times, have someone in your group start a timer, time your presentation, make sure it lands in that 10 to 12 minute zone. And just note, most of us tend to speak a lot faster in front of an audience. So if you're practicing and you're going to 13 and a half minutes, you'll probably still be okay. But again, know thyself. Some of you might have taken a public speaking class, might be more comfortable, but most of us tend to speak a bit faster when they're in front of an audience. And as I said, read the project description and the grading rubric 2 and 3. Read that multiple times. Make sure you know how I'm going to grade you on the project. For the descriptive statistics, explain how you got your data. Give an example of your survey or the entire thing if it's not too big. Flaws or issues with your data. There should be some biases, some issues. What groups did you not get in your survey or your sample? Brainstorm with your group. How could it be improved? Display your data in more than one way. And again, these graphs completely depends on the type of data you got. So you don't have to have all of these, but these are just some examples: box plots, histograms, contingency tables, pie charts. Give me summary statistics, mean standard deviation, 5-number summary. Display your data. It's better to give more graphs, more figures. You don't have to show them on each slide very often, but it's a nice way to visualize the data that you accrued from your samples. For the inferential statistics, I want at least 3 fully explained inferential statistics statements, and these include hypothesis test, confidence intervals, and linear regression. So you could, it doesn't have to be 3 different ones. You could do 2 hypothesis tests and a confidence interval, or 2 hypothesis tests and linear regression, but I don't want you to do 3 of the exact same thing. Be creative with your slides, but you don't have to be too creative. If you just kind of have dull, boring slides that have good information, explain what you did, that could be an A. I have had groups go over and beyond being creative and trying to be funny. If you could make it organic in your presentation, I'd encourage you to do so, but it's not necessary and it can be distracting. So just a little warning on that. Put your work on the slides. Again, as I said before, this is how I'm going to grade you, are these slides, your presentation, and I go back and look at those. So put the information on your slides. Even if you don't spend a lot of time on the slide in class during the presentation, it's good to put your work on the slides. And if you go outside any other resource besides our textbook, or if you got data from internet resource or anything, make sure to include that in your slides. If you did your own sampling surveying and you didn't go outside our textbook, you don't need to include a bibliography. That's not necessary. Okay, I guess that's it. Make sure to practice and be ready to go first thing in class next week.